పార్టిసిపెంట్ అండ్ సీ యువర్ స్క్రీన్ అంటే ఇప్పుడు చూడగలుగుతారు కదా వాళ్ళు. హాయ్ సోహెల్. సోహెల్
గుడ్ మార్నింగ్ సార్.
గుడ్ మార్నింగ్. ఎంపీసీ వేసుకున్నాడు. సరే వెయిట్ చేద్దాం. చూడమ్మా సోహెల్, ఇక్కడ ఈరోజు అన్బ్యాలెన్స్డ్ ట్రాన్స్పోర్టేషన్ ప్రాబ్లమ్ ని ఈరోజు సాల్వ్ చేస్తున్నాము. చంద్రశేఖర్కి ఫోన్ పే లేదు.
సార్ యూట్యూబ్ లింక్ పంపించండి సార్ ఈరోజు.
అదే ఈరోజు పంపిస్తానులేమ్మా, ఈరోజు పంపిస్తాను.
ఓకే సార్, థ్యాంక్ యూ సార్.
రైట్, 6 మెంబర్స్ ఉన్నారు. ఇంకా స్టార్ట్ చేస్తాను లేండి. ఓకే, ఇట్స్ ఆల్రెడీ 8:33. రైట్, వినండి అమ్మా. ఫస్ట్ ఆఫ్ ఆల్, గుడ్ మార్నింగ్ టు యూ ఆల్. అండ్ టుడే
గుడ్ మార్నింగ్ సార్.
yes
గుడ్ మార్నింగ్ సార్.
yes మా.
గుడ్
ఇంకా
మార్నింగ్ సార్.
సరే సరే అమ్మా, మ్యూట్ చేస్తున్నాను. ప్లీజ్ కోఆపరేట్. రైట్, స్టార్ట్ చేస్తున్నాను. ఓకే, now today's topic is unbalanced transportation problem, right? Unbalanced transportation problem. Now Mari, till yesterday we have solved balanced transportation problem, right? So what is the difference between a balanced transportation problem and unbalanced transportation problem? As I have told you in the introduction of this transportation problems, that the transportation problems are of two types. One is balanced and other is unbalanced, right? So when we say that the given transportation problem is balanced, when the sum of supplies is equal to sum of demands, right? So in this problem, if we observe the supplies here, the supplies are 200, 300, 500, 200, 300, 500, right? And the demands are 300, 200, 400, 300, 200, 400. Now let us start the solution. So first of all, let us see whether the given transportation problem is balanced or not. So we have to check the sum of all availabilities, that is summation of all AIs, A1, A2, A3. 200 plus 300 plus 500 is equal to 1000, right? And the sum of requirements is equal to summation bj, that is b1, b2, b3. 300 plus 200 plus 400 is equal to 900. So here itself it is clear that the sum of availabilities is not equal to sum of requirements. Therefore the given transportation problem is balanced. The given transportation problem is unbalanced, right? So what to do to find out the initial basic feasible solution for the given transportation problem? when the given transportation problem is unbalanced. See here, I have given the conclusion here. So if we observe clearly, the sum of demands is 900. The sum of availability is 1000. So demand is 100 units lesser than availability. So see here, I have written that demand is 100 less than supply. Demand is 100 less than supply. That is 900 is 100 units lesser than 1000. So what we have to do? The demand is 100 rupees less or 100 units less. So we have to introduce. So we introduce a dummy. That means a duplicate demand column. Demand column D4. Right? See here D1, D2, D3, and here a new transportation table is found or written with a new column, that is D4, dummy column D4, in which all the costs are zeros. See here 0, 0, 0 with the demand 100, with demand 100. That's it. So it is the new transportation table for which we have to find out the allocations, right? So see here, and the next step after this transportation problem, we show that the given transportation problem is balanced. In the above transportation problem, the sum of all availabilities is equal to summation AI is equal to 200 plus 300 plus 500 is equal to 1000, right? And sum of all requirements is equal to summation Bj is equal to 300 plus 200 plus 400 plus 100 units, which we have introduced now, which we have introduced in this transportation table, right? Therefore, the both sums of availabilities and requirements is equal now. So given transportation problem is balanced, right? Now we start allocating in the above table, right? So here we have to decide whether the given transportation problem is to be allocated using northwest corner rule, right, or a matrix minima method, or Vogel's approximation method, VAM method, right? Vogel's approximation method. So using these three methods only we can find out the initial basic feasible solution. So as the first method is northwest corner rule, we apply northwest corner rule directions to allocate, right? So here I am allocating, not allocating, I am marking the directions. It is the new transportation problem or table for which I have marked the north and the west directions. So now let us start allocating. All right. So what does northwest corner rule tells us? Select the topmost northwest cell. So it is the cell which is corresponding to O1 and D1 is the topmost northwest cell. So I'm selecting this cell. The cost is 30, unit cost is 30, and its corresponding demand is 300, and its corresponding supply is 200. So out of these two, 300 and 200, 200 is the lesser value. Therefore, allocate 200 in the first cell. Therefore, allocate 200 in the first cell, right? So putting 200 in a box is nothing but allocating. Now what we have to do? Strike off 200 and make it 0. And as the row is filled with 0 supply, therefore we have to strike off the row. And now we have to take off or take the difference of 200 out of 300. So we will be left with 100 units. We will be left with 100 units now. And now in the leftover cost matrix, that is in second row and third row, the topmost northwest cell is the cell corresponding to O2 and D1. O2 and D1, that is 35. So to correspond to this cost 35, 100 is demand and 300 is supply. 300 is supply, and here the 100 value is lesser when compared to 300. Therefore, we allocate 100 in this cell. We allocate 100. We allocate 100, right? And 100 is taken difference from this 100. So this demand is made 0, and now as the column demand is 0, we strike off column. We strike off column, and we take out 100 from 300. We'll be left with 200. We'll be left with 200 now. And in the leftover cost matrix, the topmost northwest cell is 70, right? And the demand corresponding to 70 is 200, and the corresponding supply is 200. See here, it is a peculiar situation, right? The situation in which the supply and demands are similar or same. So actually this situation should be occurred at the last allocation. So what we have to do when both supply and demand are equal in the last allocation, we allocate supply and demand at a time. So the same will be repeated here also. As supply and demand are same, 200 and 200, we allocate 200 in this cell, 200 in this cell, and we take off 200 from this supply and make it 0, and 200 from this demand and make it 0. Now we strike off column as column demand is made 0, and we strike off row as the row supply is also made 0. Now, so now the leftover costs are 60 and 0, 60 and 0. And now among these two cells, the topmost northwest cell is 60, right? The cell corresponding to O3 and D3, that is 60. Now corresponding to this cell 60, cost 60, demand is 40 and supply is 500. So of these both, 400 is the lesser value. So we allocate 400. We allocate 400 in this cell, right? And take out 400 from 400, make it 0, and 400 from 500, make it 100. Make it 100. Now as cost or now as demand corresponding to this column D3 is made 0, we strike off column. Now the last cell is left over, that is 0 cost cell, for which the corresponding supply is 100 and the corresponding demand is also 100. So it is the last cell which is left over, which is to be allocated. So if we observe carefully, supply and demand both are same. So we have done the allocations very perfectly. It indicates, right? This indicates that we have made the allocations very perfectly. So now as the corresponding supply and demand are same, we allocate 100 at a time. That is, as demand is 100, supply should be done. That is 100 should be supplied. So take out the 100 from 100 and take out 100 from this 100. So we get 0 row wise. Therefore strike off row. And we have got 0 column wise. Therefore strike off column. So if we observe carefully, all the supplies are zeros and all the demands are also zeros now. So allocating procedure is finished. Allocating procedure is finished. Now see here, we have started allocating at this stage in the above table using northwest corner rule. Using northwest corner rule, but we have not used matrix minima and Vogel's approximation method. So next, as allocations are finished, let us see whether the sum of allocations with respect to columns satisfy the supply, and let us see whether the sum of allocations regarding rows and columns satisfy their corresponding supplies and demands, right? Now the first row is filled with allocation 200. The corresponding supply is also 200, satisfied. So next row 100 allocation plus 200 allocation is equal to 300. So the supply is satisfied. Next in the third row 400 is allocation and 100 is allocation. 400 plus 100 is 500. So supplies are satisfied according to rows. And let us see the sum of allocations regarding columns. The first column 200 allocation plus 100 allocation is equal to 300 demand, satisfied. In the second column 200 is the allocation and 200 is demand, so it is also satisfied. So in the third column 400 is allocation and 400 is demand, it is also satisfied. In the last column, fourth column, the allocation is 100 and the demand is also 100. Therefore here we can conclude that the initial basic solution is obtained. So now let us see the number m plus n minus 1. What is m? Number of rows is equal to 3. And what is n? Number of columns is equal to 4, right? So now we have to find out the number m plus n minus 1. M plus n, 3 plus 4, 7 minus 1 is 6, right? Now let us count the number of allocations. The number of allocations are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The allocations are 5. The allocations are 5. Now see here, the number of allocations are 5 and the value m plus n minus 1 is 6. Therefore here we write that the number of allocations lesser than m plus n minus 1. Therefore IBFS is degenerate. The IBFS is degenerate. But if the number of allocations were equal to m plus n minus 1, right? M plus n minus 1, we used to write that the IBFS is non-degenerate. But here the number of allocations are lesser than m plus n minus 1. Therefore we conclude that the IBFS is degenerate. So now the allocations, now we have to write the allocations. The allocations are as follows. Now let us see the allocation in the first cell, that is X11 cell has allocation 200. X11 has allocation 200, right? So write this 200. Now in the second allocation, that is in second row, the first allocation is X21, right? X21 is equal to 100. X21 is equal to 100. Next, and the third allocation X22 is equal to 200. X22 is equal to 200, right? 3 allocations are finished. Now let us go for fourth allocation, X3, right? In the third row, third column cell, X33 is equal to 400, right? X33 is equal to 400, comma, and the last allocation X34 is equal to 100. X34 is equal to 100. Therefore the values of all allocations are written. X11 is 100, right? X21 is 100, right? X22 is 200. X33 is 400. X34 is 100. Now we have to find out the total transportation cost. The total transportation cost is Z is equal to summation, double summation Cij Xij. That means sum of all cost and allocations product. Sum of products of all costs and allocations. Now 30 is the cost to the allocation 200, right? Let us write 30 into 200, right? 30 into 200, right? The first product is written plus and in the second allocation the cost is 35. The cost is 35, right? Into 100 is the allocation. 35 into 100 is allocation. 35 into 100, right? Next, the third cost is 10 its allocation is 200. Its allocation is 200, right? Next. And now the fourth cost is 60. The fourth cost is 60 and its corresponding allocation is 400. And its corresponding allocation is 400 plus the last cost. The last cost is 0 with allocation 100. With allocation 100, right? Now, so 300 into 200 is 6. 6 followed by 3 zeros, right? That is 6,000. 6 followed by 3 zeros, that is 6,000 plus 35 into 100 is 35 followed by 2 zeros. 35 followed by 2 zeros, 3,500 plus next 10 into 200, that is 2 followed by 3 zeros, we get 2,000. 2 followed by 3 zeros, that is we get 2,000, right? Plus 60 into 40, 6 fours 24, 6 fours 24 followed by 3 zeros, followed by 3 zeros plus, right? And the last value is 0. And the last value is 0. Therefore, the total transportation cost is, see here, 35, all are thousands. So let us find out the sum. Let us find out the sum. Now, if we find out the sum, then what is the sum? 6,000 plus 3,500 plus 2,000 plus 24,000 is 33,700. Is 33,700. The total transportation cost is Z is equal to 33,700, right? Now see here, 33,700. It is the total transportation cost. As we find the total transportation cost, at last we can conclude that the transportation problem is solved. So we have used the northwest corner rule to find out the total transportation cost. As this transportation problem was unbalanced, we have made it balanced by introducing a dummy D4 column with all unit cost zeros and with demand 100. So it is the first kind of problem in which the deficiency in demands is found. Deficiency in the demands is found, right? So now let us move on to the next problem. Next problem in which we find the deficiency in supplies. In which we find the deficiency in the supplies. Now I will clear all these drawings. Now I will take you to the next problem. I will take you to the next problem. Now it is problem 1 and it is problem 2 and it is problem 2. Now I will start the problem. Now see here, unbalanced transportation problem, right? So they don't give the question that the given transportation problem is unbalanced. So just they give the question as solve the transportation problem. So it is the table, right? Now let us start the solution. So the first and foremost step is sum of availabilities. Equal to summation AI. 800 plus 500 plus 900 is equal to 2,200. Is 2,200, right? And the sum of requirements is equal to summation Bj is equal to 400 plus 400 plus 500 plus 400 plus 800 is equal to 2,500. Summation Bj is 2,500. Therefore, here we give a conclusion that sum of availabilities is not equal to sum of requirements. So if this is the case, we conclude that the given transportation problem is unbalanced. The given transportation problem is unbalanced. If we observe the sums of availabilities and requirements, the availabilities is 2200 and the sum of requirements is 2500. Therefore, availabilities is 300 lesser than the sum of requirements. So see here, that is what we have written here. So availability is 300 lesser than requirement. So what we have to do? We have to introduce a new supply. That is what we have done. We have done here. We have introduced a dummy origin. That means supply. Where do we find supplies? In origins. Therefore, here the origins are S1, S2, S3. Therefore, we have to introduce a new supply, that is S4. See here, we have introduced S4 with all unit cost zeros and with supply 300. So we are deficient with 300 supply. That is what we have written here. We introduce a dummy origin row, that is S4 with all unit cost zeros with supply 300 in S4 row. In S4 row. Now we decide whether to use northwest corner rule or matrix minima method or Vogel's approximation method, right? So as I am taking the northwest corner rule for both the cases, so now I will select this northwest corner rule. Both the cases means in the previous problem we found the deficiency in demands, and in the second case, that is in this problem, we are deficient with supplies. So it is the second case. For the second case also, let us solve the problem with northwest corner rule. With the northwest corner rule, right? Now let us mark the directions, that is north, west, north and west directions to find the topmost northwest corner cell. So in this table, if we observe carefully, there is a new row, that is S4 row with all unit cost zeros and with supply 300. Now let us write the table and let us show that the given transportation problem is made balanced, right? In this transportation problem, sum of availabilities is equal to summation AI is equal to 800 plus 500 plus 900 plus 300 is equal to 2500. But whereas in the previous, the sum of availabilities was 2200. Now it is made 2500. And in the same way, sum of requirements is also is equal to summation Bj is equal to 400 plus 400 plus 500 plus 400 plus 800 is equal to 2500 is equal to 2500. So the given transportation problem, sum of availabilities is equal to sum of requirements is equal to 2500. Therefore, given transportation problem is made balanced. Now start allocating, right? So if we start allocating by using northwest corner rule, the topmost northwest cell is the cell corresponding to S1 and A. S1 and A. The cell's cost is 5. The demand corresponding to 5 is 400, right? And the corresponding supply is 800. The supply is 800. Now, of these both, 400 is the least value. Therefore, we allocate 400. We allocate 400. Now here, allocating means putting that 400 value in a box. Now let us take out this 400 from 400. We get 0, and 800 minus 400 is 400. 800 minus 400 is 400. Now, as the column demand is made 0, we strike off column. We strike off column. And now in the leftover cost matrix, that is in 866, 776, 466, 000, the topmost northwest cell is 8 and its demand is 400 and supply is also 400. The same supply and same demand. Therefore, we allocate both supply and demand at a time and put it in a box, strike off 400, make it 0, and here also put it in a box, strike off 400, make it 0. And now strike off column and strike off row as supply and demand are made 0. and in leftover cost matrix, right? The topmost northwest cell is this 7, and the demand corresponding is 500. Demand is 500, and the corresponding supply is 500. Again, we have got the same supply and demand. It is the second time. So allocate 500 at a time. So put it in a box. Take out 500 from 500. The demand is made 0, and take out 500 from 500. Make supply 0. Now, as row is 0, strike off row, and as column demand is 0, strike off column. And in the leftover matrix 6300 cost matrix, so the topmost northwest cell is 6, and again corresponding demand is 400, and the corresponding supply is 900. So allocate least value, that is 400. Allocate least value 400, right? Now take out 400 from 400, it is 0. Now take out 400 from 900, it is 500, right? Now the column is made 0, column demand is made 0, therefore we strike off column. And in the topmost northwest cell, in the leftover cost matrix is 300, that is the cell 3. To this cell 3 corresponding supply is 500 and corresponding demand is 800. The least value is 500. The least value is 500, therefore allocate 500. Therefore allocate 500. Therefore allocate 500, right? So take out 500 from 500, make it 0. Take out 500 from 800, make it 300, right? 800 plus 500 is 300. Now for the last cost cell, now we have to strike off row as the row supply is 0. Now the last cost cell is 0, that is topmost northwest cell is 0. Its corresponding supply is 300 and its corresponding demand is 300. We allocate 300 at a time. We allocate 300 at a time. Now, so make 300 0 and make this 300 0 by striking. So now the row supply is made 0, strike off row, and column demand is also made 0, therefore strike off column. Therefore strike off column. Now the procedure of allocating is finished, as the all supplies are made zeros and all demands are also made zeros, right? So the demands and supplies are satisfied. Now number of allocations, let us count the number of allocations here. The number of allocations. Now 1 2 3 4 5 6 allocations are being observed, right? 6 allocations are being observed. 6 allocations, right? It is 6 allocations, right? Now, so now let us find out the number m plus n minus 1. M plus n minus 1. Number of rows m. S1, S2, S3, S4. M is equal to 4, right? And number of columns n is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4. A, B, C, D. Number of columns are also 4. So m plus n minus 1. 4 plus 4 minus 1. 4 plus 4 minus 1 is equal to 8 minus 1 is equal to 7. 8 minus 1 is equal to 7. Therefore, the number of allocations are 6 and the number of number m plus n minus 1 is 7. Therefore, 6 is less than 7. Therefore, we have to write the number of allocations is lesser than m plus n minus 1. Therefore, IBFS is degenerate. Therefore, in previous case, that is in previous problem also, we have seen that the number of allocations were lesser than m plus n minus 1. Therefore, the IBFS is degenerate. The IBFS is degenerate. Now, let us write the allocations. X11 is equal to 400. X11 is equal to 400, comma. Next, X second allocation, X12. X12 is also equal to 400, right? X12 is also equal to 400. And the next, X2 second row third column, X23 right, is equal to allocation 500, right? 500. Next, comma, second row allocations is only one, that is 500. Let us go for third row. Third row, 1, 2, 3, 4, fourth column, x34, right? x34 is equal to x34 is equal to 400. x34 is equal to 400, right? Next comma, fourth, right? It is fifth. Third row, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Fifth column, x35. x35 is equal to 500. x35 is equal to 500, right? Next, fourth row, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. x45, x45, right? x45 is equal to x45 is equal to 300, right? The total allocations are written here, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 allocations. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 allocations, right? So here we have made a small mistake that number of rows are 4. It is very nice, but the number of columns are not equal to 4. It is 5. But I have written 4 there. So let us correct that, right? 4 plus 5 minus 1. 4 plus 5 minus 1. The number we have to find out m plus n minus 1. 4 plus 5 minus 1, that is 9 minus 1, that is 9 minus 1. 9 minus 1 is 8. 9 minus 1 is 8, right? So here also already the allocations are 6. The value m plus n minus 1 is 8. 6 is less than 8. Therefore, the IBFS is degenerate. Now let us write the transportation cost. Let us write the transportation cost, right? Now, what is the transportation cost? Summation, double summation, Cij, Xij. Double summation, product of the costs Cij and Xij, right? Now, let us write the sum of products of costs under the allocations. Now, the first product is 5 into, right? 5 into 400. 5 into 400. Now, plus next allocation is 400 and its corresponding cost is 8. 8 into 400. 8 into 400, right? Next plus the next allocation is 500. Its corresponding cost is 7. 7 into 500. 7 into 500, right? Now plus next allocation is 400. Its corresponding cost is 6, right? 400 into 6. 400 into 6 or 6 into 400, however it may be, the product will be the same, right? And the next allocation is 500 and its corresponding cost is 3. Now we'll write 3 into 500. 3 into 500, right? Next. And the next allocation is 300 and the cost is 0. 0 into 300. 0 into 300 is 0. At last we have to write. So now let us write the original products. 5 4 20. 2 followed by 3 zeros. That is we get 2000. 2 followed by 3 zeros. We get 2000. 5 into 400 is 2000. 8 4 32. 32 followed by 2 zeros. 32 followed by 2 zeros plus 7 5 35. 35 followed by 2 zeros. 35 followed by 2 zeros. And next 4 6 are 24. 24 followed by 2 zeros. That is 406 is 2400. 3 5 is 15. 15 followed by 2 zeros. That is 1500. Plus 0 to 300 is 0. Now let us add all the transportation costs. Now 2000 plus 3200 is 5200, right? Plus 3500 plus 2400 plus 1500. Now let us see the sum. Let us see the sum. Now, so 2000 plus 3200 plus 3500 plus 2400 plus 1500 and last value is 0. We did not add that value. Therefore, the total transportation cost is right is 12,600. 12,600. It is the total transportation cost. So at last we write that the given transportation problem is solved. Therefore, at last we write that the given transportation problem is solved. So it is the procedure of, therefore it is the procedure of solving the given transportation problem when it is unbalanced, right? Regarding the availability, right? By